Massive container ships like this one carry 90% of everything the world produces. Australia's imports are worth in excess of $239 billion annually, while its exports are a staggering $258 billion.
Now you can have a slice of that pie.
So could you give us an overview of importing and exporting?
Yeah, look, importing in Australia is 118 billion a year industry. That's 118 billion a year business. And that's according to the Australian Department of Commerce and Stats. Just to give you an idea of the size of the Aussie import market, Australian imports products from hundreds of countries, ranging all the way from Japan, which is, I believe, around 15 billion annually, down to Spain, about 1 billion. I mean, can you get your mind around those sorts of numbers? That's huge. But I mean, of course, Australia also imports millions of dollars worth of products a year from much smaller countries as well. When it comes to exports, we see rather a different picture. I mean, people don't realise that only a tiny 5% of Australian manufacturers actually export. I mean, this just means that for the other 95%, the opportunity for you folks out there to operate as an agent or whatever you choose is absolutely phenomenal. I'll just say that again, only 5% of manufacturers actually export. Now, Australia exports pretty similar figures to what it imports. I believe it's around $119 billion worth of products a year to some of the cash-rich countries of the world, obviously United States, the European Union, Canada, Japan, Korea, and places such as that. But you know, we're missing a huge opportunity here because Aussie firms make great products of which the world's clamouring for, but no one is representing us overseas.
So how and when did you get started in import-export?
The how of the journey began out of necessity. I'd imported some health minerals from the US. They were very good minerals and they did their job, but they were $120 a kilo. So I set about a research process to try and find these minerals cheaper, and that's how the whole thing began, really. Began in the shape of emails to a factory in China, and a few days later, lo and behold, I got an email back which said, "We get your demand." And I was quite worried. I wondered what I'd done because I'd hadn't much dealing with e-commerce then. We're talking 7 or 8 years ago, and it went from there. So we were able to buy the product in at about $6 a kilo and sell it for about $50 to $60 a kilo. So that just shows you the huge profits that are available in import-export.
So how did you find out what you had to do?
This was very much a trial and error process back then. There were no videos or DVDs. There were some terrible American manuals which were so technical you'd never do anything with those. We basically just did it. Picked up the telephone, sent emails, and that was it basically. Waited until we got emails back. Asked questions at customs, import-export agents and so forth, until we developed a relationship with these people. That's literally how we started out.
So how would someone get started today?
Well, you know, without blowing your own trumpet, you'd buy a course such as this one. Even if you didn't buy this one and you invested in another one, you just make sure that the people selling you the course are not just plain old information marketers. They actually do what they're teaching. That is, they import, export. They're not just selling you the information. Then by all means, if you can find people like that, buy them from these people. That's the main criteria. Ensure that they actually do what they're talking about.
So what sorts of stuff can you import or export?
Yeah, that's probably not the right question. The right question is, what's the market that offers me the best profit? But in as far as what can you import, export, well, obviously just about everything that's legal. From the export perspective, obviously wine is a big issue. You might find someone in England that's keen to take on a very small winery production over here, in which case you'd get in contact with the would-be buyer over there, find out what they'd be prepared to pay, then approach the producer of the wine in Australia, find out what they're prepared to sell it to you at, do the math on the export side of things, add 10 to 15% profit for yourself, and there you are. You need not actually have to put in a cent of your own money in a deal like this. We're here with Lisa and Adam just down from Bowen in Queensland today, and they're just going to relate what happened to them when they were signing up for the Inner Circle package. We go across to Lisa, she's not quite so camera shy. So what happened, what was it like when you signed up for the Inner Circle package? I hear you guys had a bit of rain in that time.
Yeah, a bit of rain, yeah. We were totally flooded.
Totally flooded,
Yes.
but you still decided that you were going to do something.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Adam had, was on his days off from the mine and has had enough, and yeah.
And not content with that, you even had another bit of water after that, didn't you?
Yes,
Got
another
flooded
flood,
again.
and then a cyclone.
And then a cyclone. So
We didn't quite get the cyclone.
So if you can just put a message out there to anybody that's just not, not doing anything and making an excuse, can you just, give them a message to do something?
Maybe a message. Just to give it a go. Just to give it a go. You've got nothing to lose. Just give it a go.
Yeah, I'm Adam from Bowen, North Queensland, and I've purchased this training program off Steve. We've just come down to meet up with him, and it's a bit exciting and I'm very interested, and I haven't been interested for a long time. And we're just catching up here today and seeing how it all works.
And you've got the
sell
you've got the train component in there.
nothing.
No.
That's just because we didn't have any of this.
When I did that.
When
Well, let's add train.
Yeah, onto that,
Yeah.
and that's only
that's-
FOB.
Okay, so, but I think we should go. Well, let's throw through what they're giving you on there, about 350 or whatever it was.
Alright, so we've got 8 plus 400 because that's US. Right, then we need out all the other componentry with that. So
Yeah, not 1,000. We'll be the bid $1,200
Yeah.
for USD. So actually the figures thereafter have just got to be added, those ones got to be added on more or less 1,200 instead of $1,000. Your fixed charges are more or less the same. That always add other things on as long as for our 50.
It's $14,170.
Yeah.
And we divide that by, say, 500 products, which would be
But
inside there.
they're not all the same.
No.
Same unit
But I just
price.
worked out
Yeah.
how much per thing it's
Because there'll be
costing
something
today.
that, what you'll find is with something like this, that something else will go boom like that and go, gee, why don't we have a container like those
Yeah,
suckers? And
that's
something else will just
Yeah.
sit there. You'll have to widgetise it to get rid of it, but that's the learning process.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I thought.
And then we thought we
a
can
couple of-
do a pack, because it's all the same for kids, you can just do a pack.
Yep,
And throw that in and add
That's where
another
you put
20
the
bucks
books
on.
and DVDs and
Yeah.
you differentiate yourself from everybody else. That's what I said out
Even
there.
if something that like this isn't selling,
Yeah,
just throw it in. You can add another $10 on. You're going to get that money back for it anyway.
that's right. As soon as you've got like one of these books with, you know, whatever it is about babies and looking at how to stop them teething or whatever it might be, you know, you're giving them that and nobody else is giving them anything. You know, you put it in a nice report thing that, you know, you get for a couple of dollars and you put it in there and your only cost is printing it. You know, you buy a packet of paper and print it off, double-sided. You know, we'll show you the printer to get the factory. What's the printer? We've got a Lexmark, isn't it?
The laser,
Yeah.
the Lexmark for the laser printer, yeah.
You've got everybody on screen here. So, yeah, what happens is you can get a Lexmark printer like, what was it, 510, is it?
T522 is the
T522, yeah. And why you need to get one of them is because you can get one on eBay, they use them in the Commonwealth Bank, and you pick one up for $50 and they'll print 100,000 sheets on it. It's like $50.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
And we used to be right independents. We had inkjet the film business there.
Yeah, I remember. What did you tell me?
Knew all the bloody, every model of everything. didn't
But
they?
the whole thing about these printers is that you get the printer for less than the freaking refill. It costs $100 to buy the refill.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're going to be printing books to go with these things, you know, grab one of them. It's so cheap to refill them.
Yeah. So you think this sort of stuff would be the way to go to start off?
Well, I'm relying on you guys have
Yeah.
done your due diligence up there and said, well, these guys are selling at that. This allows for us to sell it a little bit under if we need to. Allow for a couple that don't sell,
Yeah.
because you'll always get that.
Yeah, definitely.
It'll always be the thing that you
Do you
don't
know-
expect to sell that sells.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way in a million years we expected block splitters to sell in Queensland, so we didn't bring many in, and everybody's going, "You got any more block splitters?" I'm like, no. And yet nobody wanted slashes, and yet grass never stops growing here.
Yeah.
So we're like, but because everybody's bringing slashes in, see? So,
That's the set, the bedding sets,
yeah.
and they're $25 US. Oh, sorry.
This was the one you were telling me you reckon over $100.
Well, there's on eBay, they're 137 plus postage.
Yeah, but this is the one that we reckon comes out at $50, didn't we? Is that right? Is this the one? What do we reckon this total this lot here by the time we've added everything else in? Because that's not a representative figure, is
Oh,
it?
that there, that's,
You guys are
divide that by.
you don't ever want to look at that because you get too excited when you see that sort of thing. You've got to add a freight component.
Another $28.
What we did, well, that's where we maybe worked out a bit wrong. We've added them all together and then just done the freight on them
Yeah.
all instead of doing, because they're individual products, I guess we should work the freight out on the individual products. Is that what you mean? Because
Yeah, what you really
costing different amounts. Is
Yeah,
that-
what you really need to do is you need to do what Woolies do. You know, Woolies change what they sell on their shelf based on the number of units they sell per square metre.
Yeah.
So if they, let's say, what we have here is a 20-foot sea container. This is how your fortunes are made in import-export. Your freight on one of these approximately is going to be about $1,800 on a 20-footer, so and you approximately double that, a little bit less for a 40-footer. Okay, why are we looking at something as mundane as a pallet? Well, a pallet can give you a lot of grief if you have the wrong sort imported, so it's always best to go for a plastic or a composite material. Composite material is like an MDF or a mixture of materials. Anything that's not raw wood, anything that is raw wood and contains bark will give you a lot of grief from customs, quarantine and everything like that. So you've always got to insist when you're importing that you've got plastic or composite pallets. This particular one measures about 1.2 metres by 1.2 metres square, which is about the norm, because you have two of these babies alongside each other with a little bit of overhang, and that's how you fill your containers up. Okay, let's take a look in a typical 20-foot shipping container.
So, do you need your own shipping container?
No way. We use this more as you would a garage or a shed. Plus the fact we recently moved house, so that's why we've got it. But the reason for showing you guys out there in this introductory DVD is just to point out this is, we've got maybe half of a shipment of a mineral left here. Not going to tell you what it is because we still make a load of money with it every year. But everything you see here is pure profit. So there's probably another $20,000 sitting here, and that's just profit. The profit's already been made on the balance that we've already sold. So if you don't think import-export is lucrative, then you're living in cloud cookie land, because it's very lucrative. And these babies here that cost about $3,000 US, that's it. That's all they cost. So that gives you an idea.
Why import-export? Because it is by definition Australia's largest industry, and you just need a tiny crumb of this massive pie to be successful, independent and living life on your own terms. Don't waste your time commuting. An average city commuter spends an average 720 hours per year simply getting to and from work. That's a lot of hours, where the importer-exporter gets to select how to spend them. Moreover, only travelling through personal choice. Make yourself wealthy. In the job scenario, you can 98% of the time make only the employer wealthy. The main reason behind this is that your income is restrained or held back up to a possible maximum. In import-export, there is no maximum. The sky is the limit. Work from where you please. Home office, city apartment, hideaway retreat, overseas, wherever you damn well choose. Pay yourself first. In the business of import-export, pay yourself first in the form of drawings, training, equipment, stock, plant, then pay the government a slice, if applicable, of what remains. Work when you want and with whom you want. Who hasn't had the misfortune to be working with someone who is less than pleasant? Well, the good news is that you don't have to in this industry. Answer to nobody, except those such as your family, friends, trusted advisors and business partners. Thank you for your emails. Believe me, they really help. Your emails keep my inspiration and incentive on a better life. Thanks, and please keep them coming. Pablo Lucero, Stanhope Gardens, New South Wales.
Steve was quick to identify a perfect match of market and business for myself. We have 2 small kids, so this is a challenge. Also source likely product for us with marketing strategies. Together with full phone support and personal visits, how could you fail? Thank you, Steve and Mitch. Carmen Nichols, Nerang, Queensland. I was concerned about my ability to actually import-export, but Steve pointed out to me that I am actually overqualified. I thought he was joking. This is more than a business in a box. These people actually show you what to do based on their considerable experience. See you soon, Steve and Mitch. Bring your bucket and spade. Joan White, Gold Coast, Queensland.
I was worried about making my current income of $35,000. Now I've hooked up with these guys, there'll be no stopping me. Whether you need import-export, websites, copywriting, advertising, eBay, video, audio, you're in a fortunate position to be able to be coached by them both. Nice one. Colin Nichols, Gold Coast, Queensland. I just listened and soaked up the knowledge from a couple of very knowledgeable gents that speak to you unscripted and on the fly. If you can find anyone else like that, run, don't walk to their door. Looking forward to working with the Import-Export Secrets team in the future. Rashid Dempster, Gold Coast, Queensland.
Thanks so much for your input into my fashion design business. Look forward to catching up with you in the near future. Ria, Melbourne, Victoria.
Imagine how high you can go with what you will know. What do you want to achieve in your life? Now, it's up to you.